Wasn't the last pieces of shit. Uh, yeah, I'm Transformers: Age of Extinction. Bringing this out in case Mark does not have our spoiler review up by Saturday or so, just in case. I'm not gonna keep this short because that one went on for over an hour. Yeah, that's an hour-long review we did for that one. We went off of some topics in that one. So yeah, Transformers: Age of Extinction. Um, I refer you to my opening statement. It was not the last two pieces of shit. I was pissed off coming out of Transformers 3. I wasn't pissed off coming out of this one. I thought it was okay. um, I don't know what this. Without going into spoilers, it's going to be a little hard, but I'll do my best. What's the plot of this? I don't know half the time. The plot is all over the goddamn place. I guess some of the main points of interest are, or main topics of the plot are, we replaced Shia LaBeouf with Mark Wahlberg, whose character's name is Cade Yeager, whose daughter is Nicole Peltz, or also known as Tessa Yeager, who played Katara in the Avatar: Last Airbender series. And that just goes to show what we're in for today. um, yeah, they apparently the Autobots are in hiding. Shit's gone down with the humans. The humans no longer like the Autobots or really any of the Transformers, so they're after them for various reasons. Other Transformers come in. Um, they never actually say what the race. I mean, they're called Transformers, but they never say what the race of the Transformers is actually called. I think I know Cybertron is where they're from. Are they Cybertronians? I don't know. Anyone who's nerd savvy on the Transformers lore, unlike me, let me know on that. Because I know it's the Autobots and Decepticons, but those are fractions of the same, factions of the same species. So yeah, they find, as you see in the trail, Optimus is in hiding, and all the fans geek out because he's got the original look. He doesn't keep that forever, folks. Sorry. I will give it some of the redesigned looks of some of the classic characters like Bumblebee and Optimus were pretty cool looking. Um, but then they change it because they can scan okay, that's one thing I'm going to comment on before I go into more of the plot. Which okay, actually, you know what? Screw it. I'll finish my brief synopsis of the plot. So yeah, they're in hiding, and they get Mark Wahlberg and his family get caught into it, and yeah, and they got these other Transformers, and the Dinobots show up. Stuff happens. There is a terminology in movie terms called trimming, or in a lot of media terms where you've got law. Um, it's often used in a movie. Called trimming the fat off a movie. Trimming the fat off a movie is essentially stripping down the movie, taking out unneeded things, leaving what you think is necessary to keep the movie functioning and perfectly flowing at a good, reasonable pace, at a good, reasonable time. This movie was the blob of that. This had no fat trimmed out whatsoever. This movie just kept going and going on scenes. Sometimes scenes would be really good, and then it just kept going on. Sometimes character development was actually okay for some of the movie, and then they keep going. Action scenes were okay for a time, they keep going. They keep focusing on one thing too long, move on to another thing and focus on that too long, and then keep moving on. Nothing was coherent at all in this. Half of the shit in this movie made no sense. The whole title makes no sense. Age of Extinction. They talk about it and how one of the bad guys, and there's like several bad guys in this, will accidentally cause basically human extinction, blah, blah, blah. As briefly glanced over. Kelsey, okay. Basically, the point of this movie is to show that humans are fucking assholes who think they're better than everyone else, kind of, as part of a message. And then the other evil Transformers come in. His name's Lockdown is like the main one. He's kind of designed how Megatron was originally designed, as like kind of a gun design. His head kind of turns into a gun, which is cool. It's cool. Um, he's got he's got a couple of scenes where are okay. He's kind of yeah. He actually shows up almost like in a black op mode, which is actually kind of cool. He's got these like bio-organic hounds, like no, like legitly like canine like robots, but yeah, I mean they're kind of cool looking, I guess. Um, okay, I'll go into some of the pods. You can see I'm kind of a mess about this. We ranted a while in our spoiler review. Again, it went over a fucking hour. So yeah, forgive me if I'm a little scatterbrained on this subject. So I'll go over into a couple of the positives. Mark Wahlberg's okay. Kelsey Grammer plays the villain. He's actually pretty good. He actually feels like he belongs in a different movie. Stanley Tucci, I want to say, is probably among the best parts of this movie. Plays a character called Joshua Joyce. He's kind of like a Bill Gates, Steve Jobs kind of character, but a lot more interesting. I mean, he's a lot of the comic relief. Because despite how it is, he's still remaining like a kind of like this weird, sarcastic sense of humor. Like even if he dies, he's still. I can't go into much lines without really spoiling anything or remembering anything. Because that's another thing. 2.5 hours of this, I can't remember half the movie. I can't. I can remember the parts that are mentionable to talk about, but yeah, I can't remember half his dialogue. I remember laughing at about half of his dialogue, and I mean he had some few decent one-liners. Yeah, he's okay. And actually, you know what? This is something that this Transformers movies has done better than the last three. Is that the human characters, at least for half the movie, are semi-interesting for a change. They're not just it's like oh god, oh Jesus, oh my girlfriend's Megan Fox, oh objectify. Worry about the first half of the movie, and then Michael Bay being the sexist son of a bitch he is. And yes, I'm sorry, Michael, but you are a sexist asshole. You know what? If you want to just get done with this, then turn down a fucking check. You got enough money to turn it down. Hand it off to someone else who would actually give a shit about this franchise. Just stop. Because all you do is objectify fucking women. And this movie objectified women so much more than any of the other movies did. Oh my fucking god. Because in the first three movies, all you had was the main girlfriend. It was Megan Fox in the first one, and whoever that British chick was in the third one. I think she was actually supposed to be a legit character. I have no clue. And this one, not only do we get the teenage daughter, who's supposed to be 17 years old. Yeah, bullshit on that. The 17-year-old, who's supposed to be 17-year-old. So we're objectifying a 17-year-old girl, who I know she's not 17, so therefore I can say she's actually pretty hot. But I know she's not 17. But in the movie terms, you're objectifying a 17-year-old girl in the classic Michael Bay slow-mo panning on this chick. A couple times she bends over, you're getting a good look at her ass. Not only are you doing that, but there's constantly really attractive women just standing in three. When we're introduced to Stanley Tucci's character, three attractive women are just walking and standing there talking simultaneously like, hi, we're here to be obligatory attractive women in a Michael Bay film. Hi, we're going to leave now and just get our paychecks. Bye. Fuck you on that regard. I could forgive a lot of things. I can give Michael Bay some slack on some things. That's not one thing I'll ever give him fucking credit for. Or any slack for. Fuck you for your objectification of women, Michael Bay. Fuck you for that. So yeah, she's kind of interesting, up until then. And she's got a boyfriend who's like a derby driver. He's a derby car driver. And she actually, in the reveal that she's kind of been like his navigator the whole time, so she's actually kind of savvy in this regard. He's a pretty good driver. He loses any interesting characteristics halfway through this movie. It's like, Michael Bay actually says, you know what, maybe I'll actually try this time. And then he got halfway done with the movie, he's like, you know what, fuck it, they already handed me the check, I'm gonna do what the shit I want. Fuck you. So yeah. The effects are about as good as they've always been, which at this point they kind of need to be upgraded, because you can tell they are really more effects than characters. In the first movie, they were actually pretty good at, cutting edge. I wouldn't say cutting edge, but they were pretty solid effects in the first movie. But because they were really good for the first movie at that time. They had not been updated since then. This is when did the first Transformers movie come out? Oh God. Third one came out in 2011, I want to say. So, and then scale back. I want to say it was 2008, 2007 the first one came out. So we're about 7 years ahead of technology. Update the effects. Um, Action scenes are decent. Um, some of the humor's okay, not all of it, because it's Michael Bay, not my all. Michael Bay humor is really great. Um, That's really all. Okay, the Dinobots when they show up are actually kind of cool. For the last 20, yeah, I said I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to spoil it. They don't show up until the last goddamn 30 minutes of the movie, and even then, they're just kind of running around being sucked up by a giant space magnet. And you know what? They completely fucked up using the Dinobots in this. They had a few when they're on screen, they are cool, but that's just a more for the nostalgia factor of seeing the Dinobots on screen. That's not for anything. That's not half for what they do. Um, because they can transform. They show it in the transform states. They are like gigantic ass transformers in their transform states. Ooh, excuse me. But they spend most of their time in their dinosaur state, and then they transform back to like guard a bridge or something like that. I can't recall why they transformed back, but and they transform back to guard the bridge. They're not fighting anyone. They're just holding the fort down, I guess. So that's a complete waste of Dinobot. I mean, they've set it up for it's really set up for a fucking sequel. The ending of this movie is so sequel baiting that it just should be splooging dollar bills onto Hollywood for sequels. But oh my god, the pacing is so horrible. There's no fat trimmed off this. The Michael Bay perfected, as a nostalgia critic once put it, talent bending that Shyamalan perfected. He sucked out the talent halfway through of all these actors. Even Kelsey Grammer, he sucked out the talent for. How do you suck up the talent of Kelsey Grammer? I don't know, but you did it. Oh well, almost. They're almost completely sucked out talent. They still are enough that you can keep watching the movie. Kind of. I could go on more, but oh, man, they introduce characters with no fucking point. Um, they got okay. One of the Autobots actually is interesting. He's voiced by John Goodman, and we just call him the John Goodman bot because he basically looks like if John Goodman had a beard and was a transformer. he's actually pretty cool because he's like one of the only ones that has a real cut personality. There's another one that's like a samurai. To be fair, that's another credit I'll give it. Michael Bay did not really go racist in this movie. That's about as racist as he went, and to be fair, that's not overly racist. He's a samurai, Japanese robot. Um, I got nothing else without going into spoilers. I'm spent from last night. That movie's at 2.5 hours long, and you know what? Oh god, let's be clear. We went in at 10, got out at close to 1, and then spent an hour, close to an hour and a half talking about it in our review. I didn't get home till 4 o'clock in the morning last night and didn't get to bed till 5. I'm still kind of out of it right now. So yeah, I gave my rating for. In fact, I'm going to give my rating for all the Transformers movies right now because I did that in the last review. I give that first one I think is the best one still. I gave it about a 6.57. Second one gets about a 4. I might be speaking differently from last night, but then again I slept on it a bit, so it might be different from last night. I think I gave it about a 4, and that's only for decent effects and robot fighting. Third one I gave a 2, and this one I'm giving about a 5. Because the human characters actually were interesting for a while in this movie, which is not something I can say for the other ones. The effects were about the same. The action was maybe about the same, if not a little better. And got to see the Dinobots. That was fine. But yeah, I gave this about a 5. If you've been a fan of these movies, you'll like it. If not, then you're going in whatever. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. This is only going to be up if Mark doesn't get the spoiler review up within the next day or so. So this will probably be up either on Saturday or Sunday. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. If you got something you want us to review, Just put it in the comments below, Facebook us, and if you like us, you think your friends like us, please, by all means, pass the word along. We appreciate it. So thanks. I do not know what is next week. I don't know. Actually, I possibly may see like Jersey Boys or something like that, or I don't know, something else that came out this week. I think the options are. Honestly, the options are the Obvious Girl, which I actually talked about in my last review, or Snowpiercer is the new Chris Evans movie. Captain America's directing it. It's like post-apocalyptic, world's dying. They're living on a train that's just constantly circling around the world. The world's toxic and stuff like that, so they kind of survive on the train. So yeah, maybe it's interesting. If that's available in like a regular screening, I might see it. So yeah, I might catch another movie on Saturday. I don't know quite yet, but I don't know what I'll be seeing next week. So who knows? Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.